Akidelis, and welcome everyone. Thank you. Again, we're going to re-strengthen our beautiful motivation of the joy and the appreciations, and then bodhicitta, the vastness motivation of the bodhicitta, and as well as three Vajra states of the Vajrayana teaching: Vajra form, Vajra song, and the Vajra mind and space. And we activated the beautiful motivation, and then we're going to recollect again teaching by the Yabji Dongyal Rinpoche, and which is we are continually going on these topics. And now we discussed it this past time. We discussed it those basic view of the how the samsara is, and how samsaras are. And we went through those 4 different points, which is also known as 4 training of the mind. We went those. Those are basic general teachings. And this is not, as I said many times, this is not just a kind of like extraordinary teachings, but it's a very common. It's general knowledge of the way the samsara is. All samsara are operating or what nature is. It's very important to know, because this is again is nothing to do with religions or not, but it is really our day-to-day life situation. So I think it's very good to become more familiar, more knowledgeable the situation and circumstance, and that is according to Buddhism, that is the wisdom. You know the way things are is important. And once we have an understanding, then we are now training our mind to Dharma, which is also known as following the path to truth. So we are following the path. That means we like to change the samsara situation, or we like to change our perception and the conceptions of the samsaras. And those depends. You like to change that completely, or you like to transform that. And reality in the Vajrayana teaching or the Mahayana teaching, there's nothing need to be changed externally, but we have to change our attitude or our mind. And that when we change our mind or the attitude or the perception, then samsara is fine. Why? Samsara is nirvana. There's nothing really, anything wrong. It is perfect. But because of our grasping, clinging, and habitual patterns that we accumulated so many lifetimes, so we spoiled our perceptions. We spoiled our conceptions. That we do often in our lives too. Many times it turned our own perception against our will. And clashing between these two. Our own will and our own perception are really clashing. Both are our mind. But this twisted mind of duality is so funny and so tricky and so stubborn, and it will always makes trouble to one's own self. Even we didn't notice those things. Those things, in reality, we're making ourselves these troubles. Similarly, when we proceed of the samsara, then it turned in a way, the perception itself turned to us. So now, what in the Buddhism said, we have to change the perception. Means we have to change our mind. When we change our mind, reveal it is natural and release the habitual patterns and those kind of attitude, then world and the environment will become more clear, more bright, more simple, more beautiful, beautiful. And this will goes on and on as we purify our own perceptions. And that is known as the following the path, practicing. And this is a naturally born beauty that we are revealing from this. This is not going to become addicted. It's not going to lead us no more headaches, because it's our inborn beauty and the nature, and it is inborn discovering of our own potential, our goodness, and all the beautiful skills, the methods, and the creativities, understanding, knowledges are really shining, everything like blooming as a spring. It just comes. This spring must be arising from the within, from our mind. That is what beauty of the nature of the mind, or the beauty of the mind is inconceivable. Vastness that we should reveal. So that is really what we are talking about, turning the mind toward the Dharma or following the path truth. That truth, what we in Greek the teacher Buddha Shakyamuni used as like path truth. This is the truth. If we follow with this, it will bring the truth result. It's not going to deceive us or let us down again, as in the samsara does. It won't let us down. It really will make stronger, it will make you more courageous, more committed, more rejoiced and joy and confidence. All this will come. So therefore, that is known as truth. Following the path truth will bring the cessation truth. Cessation truth means all the habitual patterns are removed, now ceased. All habitual patterns, all negativities, all those impurities are completely ceased, finished, gone. Then what is? Then true sunshine will arises and it will shine all the time, never going to setting or never go away. It will always shine. And that is known as the cessation truth. Path truth will bring the cessation. So now, when you follow the path truth, then what in the Buddha's teaching, take the refuges. Those are two home. Take refuge into the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sanghas. And now, the cause and refuge is the foundation of the entirely Buddha teachings, all the vows and initiations and transmissions and blessings, all that really based upon the refuge. But the cause of a refuge is, as I said, or the great master Vimalmitra highlighted of the two things. One is fear or the tired and the bored, and the other is then devotions or the fed. So fed and as well as tired of samsara will be the cause of the refuges. And then addition, how we develop the fed, and those are then highlighted by the great master Yingmi Lompa. And he said, contracted with his spiritual friend, that also applied the spiritual teachers, or qualified spiritual teacher, and accompanying or associating with the spiritual friends, and then remembering the quality of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, or reading the books on the Buddha's teachings. And then fourth one, and then samsara situation. Those we already discussed of those four renunciation thought or fourth point that will change the mind. So those all known as the cause of the pain. So once we develop those beautiful pain, and again, pain is so important. I mentioned quite few stories, and as well as you all know those stories. And then again, I talk that one, maybe one more on that. Faith is so important. If you have even how many different faiths? The intrinsic faith, desired faith, faith of a desire, and then trust faith, and then final one, unshakable faith. So among that, each of those has a big power, and we really have that. Each of those. Of course, that all will goes deeper and deeper and deeper, or stronger and stronger. So that means that this desirable faith is more stronger than the interesting faith. According to Buddha's teaching, how we develop the desirable faith, that you develop because of course you have to have interesting. You have to inspire yourself or interested in faith. Once you do have the interest in faith, then you have more curiosity to explore. So, according to Buddhism, then you studying and contemplating. Studying well or reading books on the Buddha teaching will develop the desirable faith. It will bring that. It will inspire more stronger. Once you have the desire of faith, then you will develop the third one, trusty confidence. That in the Buddha's teaching, said it will develop by the contemplating on the teachings. Contemplating on the teachings. Studying and contemplating, and then also practicing. That will bring the confidence. Trusty faith. Once you have developed that faith, third one, develop, then if we continually studying and practicing, meditating and contemplating, it will bring the fourth one, unshakable. Unshakable faith is maybe in a similar terminology, if I use in this world level, loyalties. You become loyalty to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and you become loyalty to your practice or one's own practice. You now really upholding that. You see the value and importance. You're not going to give up any reasons because it's good for me, it's good for the others. It is absolutely good from the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the ending. It has good value, and therefore, this is my long-lasting friendship until I reach the enlightenment or final discovery. So you become very loyalty in this normal language. In the teaching, it mentioned the infallible refuge or devotions, infallible refuges. Now, with that, then now you take the refuge. And generally in the Buddhism, when you take refuge, these two causes are very general. That two causes, again I'm going to remind, this tired with the samsara and fed, or some degree fed to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. That is the cause of refuge. But in Mahayana, added one more, which is compassion. So that means in Mahayana has three. So, tired of the samsara and fed to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then fundamental cause of that is, cause of taking refuge is compassion. What that means? That is, according to Mahayana teaching, you see the situation and the circumstances in the samsara. Every living being is going through all the challenges. Everyone is running to achieve some degree of the peace and happiness or desirable things. Running, everyone is really running in a way all the time. But yet, they are not achieving everything what they want. Always is struggling. Always it looks like kind of bouncing to the Rocky Mountains.
not really going through exile as you wanted. And then while they're experiencing, they're bouncing to the rocky mountain or the sand mountains, climbing up the sand mountains. They're not comfortable. So therefore, feel great compassion. Feel compassion. All living beings are really sincerely like to help actually all the beings. Therefore, I'm going to take whatever method I need to develop the skills to benefit, to help with things, to all these beings. Sincerely having that attitude in the mind and heart, and then take refuge in the Buddhism, in the Mahayana teachings. So compassion is the very fundamental force behind taking refuge, along with somebody know the situation, the circumstance of samsara, and understanding and of joy of the Buddha Dharma Sangha, then you take the refuge. And how long we take this refuge? How long we going to keep? Until we become the enlightenment. Our self, that means until we discover the full our potential. In other words, full potential or nature of our own Buddha nature. Fully is waked up. Until then, I go refuge. What that means? Until then you don't go. Then according to the teaching, you yourself or each of us become as object of refuge. You reach the ultimate goal of the refuge. Become the Buddha. You full potential, discover the potential, and from that on, that means you discovered full potential or full quality of Dharmakaya nature. From that on, now you're going to benefit for all living beings by Rupakaya, or the day I mentioned, and of course you all know. And how long you're going to have? Until every living being is reaching enlightenment. Everyone. And those are, I mentioned earlier, and again I'm sure you know that. They say that then there is a pervasive continuation, spontaneous way to going to benefit all living beings until they reach their final goal or until they discover their final potential in Buddhahood. They're going to benefit. So that is really the idea of the taking refuge. Here, Jabji Dongyal Rinpoche said that the refuge, like infallible word here again. If I read this, of course you have this trusting that the three jewels are the infallible source of refuge. So that is your taking refuge. Now, how we take refuges? Generally, of course, first you take refuges. Refuges with the master, lineage masters or the spiritual friends. Spiritual friend. You take refuges. Once you take refuge with that means you're connected to the lineage. You're connected to the lineage. You are now put the first step on the path to the enlightenment, or you are in the path through. We put. Or we are now right on we cross the border of the samsara and nirvanas. When we talk the refuge, we are crossing the border of the samsara to the nirvana states. That is really the beginning. We take refuges. From once that on, when you talk the refuge, then you always take yourself refuge. You should do that. Often, every day, if you have time, if you can do. Those are the teachings said, feel the presence of the Guru Padma Sambhava, who is the embodiment of all object refuges. That means Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Guru, Deva, Dakinis, and the Dharmakaya, Sambhokaya, Dharmakaya, Buddha, or whatever name, but Guru Rinpoche is, or Guru Padma Sambhava is embodiment of all those object refuges. And what that means, again, Guru Rinpoche is the embodiment of the loving kindness, compassion, wisdom that has ever existed in the world, or well existed, or it is now. All come together in one form of as Guru Sambhava. And Guru Sambhava is also, as I said, embodiment of all the teachers. The teachers you have, personal connections you have spiritually connected to you, is embodied by that. Because your personal friend, personal spiritual friend, they are your friend because their kindness, their wisdom, their knowledge, their understanding, that shared to you or inspired to some degree. That's what really we are, known as the friends. So, Guru Sambhava is embodiment of all those kind friends, supporters, in one form. And then Guru Sambhava is a transcendental wisdom rainbow body of loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom. And Guru Sambhava embodiment of all the Buddhas come in the past. That includes Buddha Shakyamuni. All the Buddhas now, that includes such as the Vajra Renna Sambhavas, and Amitabhas, Amoga Siddhas, all 5 Dhyana Buddha, 5 male Buddha, 5 female Buddhas. And all Buddhas will come in the future, all come one together at a single state as Guru Sambhava. And Guru Sambhava is sitting right in front of your sky. Letter may be far or like this, or maybe 10, 15 feet kind of way in your distance right in front of the sky. Beautiful trees, that jewel tree, and has about 5 branches. On the central branch of the flower lotus, Guru Sambhava is sitting on the sun and moon daskas. Sun and moon daskas, lotus and sun and moon daskas, looking to us with eye of loving kindness, compassion, and welcoming to us, and smiling with very joyfully, warmly receiving us. And above Guru Sambhava, all the lineage masters, one after another, different forms, different gestures. And the right side of the Guru Sambhava, or right in front of the Guru Sambhava, I mean, it depends with the different lineage masters according to their instructions. But in the front side, according to his holy instruction, all the Yadam deities, such as Vajakalayas, and as well as higher givers, Yamitakas, I mean, Heruka deities, and as well as all Ratha deities, and male and female, and peaceful, all those deities right in front of us, or of Guru Sambhava, facing to us. And the right side of the Guru Sambhava, there's all the Buddhas. Buddhas of 1,000 Buddhas will come, or came and will come, are all right in front of Buddha Shakyamuni. And left side of the Guru Sambhava, all the great bodhisattvas, such as the Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, Vajrapani, and all the bodhisattvas, and as well as then the old Arhatas, Shariputra, Mongolputra, Anand, Mahakashapa, and all those are, even their different gestures, different forms. Above the Guru Sambhava, I think I already said, all the lineage masters, Dzogchen lineage masters, all mind-to-mind transmission, masters of mind-to-mind transmission lineage, and masters of the symbolic transmission lineage, and masters of the oral transmission lineage, and as well as all the Tetums, and all those Kama lineage masters, Tema lineage masters, everyone is above Guru Sambhava. Even though Guru Sambhava represents all of that in one single form, but yet he is surrounded by all these enlightened beings. Even though they are slightly different forms, gesture, color, and all that, reality, they all are the same nature. Full of love, full of compassion, full of wisdom, full of power and abilities of loving kindness and compassion and wisdom to help to us, to all the beings. Everyone is emanating light of love and compassion, wisdom, healing light to us, to all the beings of 6 realms. In front of that, you, and then as well as all our loved ones, our family members, friends, and the neighbors, and all the beings of 6 realms are right in front of us. And everyone is so joyful, calm, beautiful, settled down on earth, gesture of the gesture of the respect of the body. Their hearts are what's called hands are folded toward the heart center. This is called gesture of the respect of the bodies, and the gestures of the respect of the speech, chanting the prayers so melodiously and beautiful, and the gestures and respect of the mind is full of devotions, full of faith, really closely connected, without a doubt and hesitations, and the giant refuge prayers, as we do, or giant 7-line prayers. That way we chant all the time. The whole Orgyen Menla, that's 7-line prayers. This 7-line prayer that as we chanting every day, this maybe 2 times each session. Here we chanting. This is known as one of the most powerful prayers, known as of the Guru Padma Samye. Invoke the power and the blessing of Guru Padma Samye, and as well as all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all Guru, Deva, Dakinis, all Lama, Yeda, and Khando's blessings. It's really very powerful. It is, Khenpo Rinpoche mentioned many times, it is, when we chant that, it is refuge, it is bodhicitta. It is invoke the blessings. It is invoke the power and blessings of the Guru Padma Samye, and mingling Guru Padma Samye to your own heart with confidence and with joy. It's truly, it is so powerful. This is like just every teaching, all the Dharma teachings, it just echoed this teaching since the beginning time, or in 11th century until now. So many Tirthas of those great masters revealed the same line, same word, these 7-line prayers. And can you remember? You can imagine them. So many practitioners chant these prayers. Same thing, with full of their devotions, realizations. They really chant and completely purify their obscuration and with the power and the blessings of Guru Padma Samye. And Guru Padma Samye himself said, this 7-line prayer is like invoke the power and the urging the call of me. Whoever call me with the 7-line prayer, with the devotion, I will be there. Really, he's mentioned. So many of those great practitioners are witnessed power of this in the past. It's just a renowned one. So we are on that line. We're chanting these prayers. And that is so you can do refuge prayer or simply 7-line prayer, chanting that. And you do that. And during that time, well, you're chanting these prayers, and then so many blessing lights coming from Guru Padma Samye. Come Sambhava to us, to all the beings. And those blessed lights are coming form of lights, or form of syllables, form of the Guru Padma Samye himself, big and small, in a form into light forms, of course, rainbow lights. And such is the big in the size of the Guru Padma Samye as like just kind of snowing or the showering down to us. And to every pore is our entering those blessings. And the form of syllables, such as Om, Ah, Hum, Vajra, Guru, Padma sitting forms, or simply Om, Ah, Hums, white Om, red Ah, blue Ah. All those are coming, like showering, going to every pore of our bodies, every pore of the all living beings, purifying all the disease, sicknesses, contagious disease, virus that is completely disappearing that, and healed up everything, and not just more than that, completely revered their potential, enlightenment natures, completely really. And from that on, their love and kindness and compassion, skillful means and courage and commitment completely revealed as the sun is shining completely. Really feel that. And they feel that, and with that, reciting mantra. Always reciting the mantra or reciting the prayers or reciting the refuge prayers. And also, while you are chanting 7-line prayer or refuge prayer, you can, according to the teaching, you can visualize every sentence beings are chanting same thing. All joined with you. All. In the Buddha's teaching, expanding mind is so important. Expanding. Mind is the big as a space. Even actually in the teaching, it's bigger than the spaces. But we shrink ourselves by the duality, mishandling. So therefore, open the heart, open the mind. Bring the vastness quality of the mind as it has. And every living being is chanting. Every living being is folded hand, their heart center with calm and peaceful respectfulness. And respectfully of the chanting the prayers. Respectfully of the love and compassion, devotions overwhelming in their heart. Chant. This is known as then taking refuge or practicing Guru Yoga, mangling the Guru or the Buddha nature to your own natural mind. And then finally, when you're going to conclude the practices, there is slightly different kind of instructions, whichever you like. So now, fourth one is that so many blessed lights are coming from all the object of refuge that you visualize, and as well as from Guru Sambhava, all blessed lights coming to you and to all the beings. Purified completely all the obstacles, disease, sickness, and everything, habitual patterns, all that completely purified. And finally, that moment, then you dissolve yourself now. All the sentient beings are dissolved into light, and that merge to the all the object refuge. And then that all the object refuge, everything dissolved to Guru Sambhava, and Guru Sambhava dissolved to the vastness state of the Dharma Dhatu or the Dharma Kaya state. And that's the one way to do the practices. Other way, and to continue the practices, receive all the blessings, continue while you recite the mantra, and all those masters, assembly master of the which is surrounding Guru Sambhava, finally dissolved to Guru Sambhava, and Guru Sambhava dissolved to the three syllable or the small sphere of light like this, small sphere, size of the P, and the size of P is like very, the nature is like totally blissfulness of the emptiness, and that dissolved to your heart center, and that moment, then you meditated on the non-duality, non-dual, non-consumption status, if you can, for whatever your times, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So that is really known as the refuges. That you can do once you talk the refuges already with the lineage spiritual masters, then you can take that again and again, do that again. Renewing is always important, and that is actually also known as practicing, keeping the flame continually and not let go away, keeping that. Inspire ourselves and continually keep the freshness of the energy of the practices. Then result will come. So that is briefly talk of this general taking refuge. And then I talk really about this again, devotion, as we said, is so important. As I said yesterday, story of the Ashoka, young boy, that devotion is interesting devotion. That because he's seeing the Buddha, he inspired. When Buddha and his students coming, he inspired. He made immediately organized. He offered his from the treasury department or whatever he named that and offered his handful of the treasure to Buddha, and that is interesting devotions. And that brought such huge results. There's many stories. Then, when interested had that devotion, then desirable devotions also has a big benefit, and then also trusty devotion. Then, developed, as I said, the story of the Khenpo being. Khenpo being, that is the trust. He completely trusts that center in the Lhasa cathedral, the famous Buddha, he really thought is a living Buddha. He never had any second thought of his statue or not. He just thought. He came with attitude. He saw that way, and he received that way blessings, same way. And there is another story that in the world of Suma perfect teacher, many of you read, I just will say again one of that. And that is like that story that is the son of the one lady. Her son, he was merchant, according to the story, that he usually goes, not usually, often he goes to India to do the business. His mother was very devoted to the Buddha, and always thought, my son is going to India, he should bring some relax or blessed object from Buddha, because India is the holy land of the Buddha. Buddha was born and gave the teaching, all that. So she always had that expectation. She asked for it 3 times. Each time he forgot it. He forgot that to do. And then finally she said he didn't bring anything. So then finally she said when you go this time, if you don't bring anything to me as the blessings from the India as my object of veneration, I will die right in front of you if you don't bring. So really she made that statement. So now her son is returning from the trip from India. India, it is approaching close to their houses. Suddenly he remembered what his mother asked him. So he really feels so bad, now what to do. And then he had not kind of what he thought what to do. And he's looking around, right nearby him. So there is like dog's head, dry dog's head there. And he thought, I'm going to take some from this dog's head. So he pulled the tooth of the dogs from the dog's head, and he rubbed it with silk, nice brocade silk, and then he thought, I'm going to tell to my mom, this is Buddha's truth that I'm going to tell and give to her that. So he really did that. So then he arrived back to home. Mother asked, do you bring anything from India for my object of veneration, anything that? And then he said, yes, I brought very special to you, and the Buddha's teeth or truth I brought to you too. And she's so happy, so excited, really, she's so happy. And she put that on the altar, and she's practicing the praying. She never had any doubt and hesitations. She really thought this is a Buddha teeth. Because of the power of her trusty faith or infallible faith, in the teaching said, bliss of the Buddha Shakyamuni entered in that dog's teeth, and is coming light, rainbow lights. Many beautiful things are really kind of showing up signs, and she's so happy and so devoted. She continually practiced and make offering to that. And in the teaching said, And when she died with the sign of realizations, peacefully, happy. And the rainbow light came to her body or the dog's teeth. So this is the power of the devotions, or power of the faith. Even it's not exactly Buddha's teeth, but when you have that trust, confidence, power of the mind, joined the blessings of Buddha, Shakyamuni, transform the dog's teeth into Buddha's relaxed tooth. So that is really the story. How important of these pairs are. If you don't have, or we don't have the pair, doesn't matter whoever there is not going to gain any result, any benefit. Again, there is so many stories throughout his stories, but I tell one thing, that is in the Buddha's time. Buddha is total enlightenment. There's nothing higher realization, achievement, and discovering than Buddha did. He's full of love and full of compassion. But, for example, of course, there's so many people did not have any joy or the devotion, close feeling to the Buddha during Buddha's time. But this is one of the examples. He's one of the relatives known as Lakpa Karma. Buddha, his own relatives, Lakpa Karma. Lakpa Karma. Buddha become very famous, renowned teacher. Somehow he came to Buddha and took the old nations in the teaching set. Took the old nations. And Buddha he's staying close with Buddha. But he always thought we both are equal. Because they born same climb, and Buddha don't have any better quality than himself, Lakpa, he thought. I know what Buddha is talking or teaching. I know the same thing. What he do have? He don't have any extra things. We are equal, except one thing he said. He have little bigger aura. I see. He has a little bigger aura, but other than he and I'm equal. And one time he left, he said, at the end he said, I've been with you so many years, but I don't see any good quality about you. I'm going to leave. So he left. So this is the stories. If you don't have the faith, and even you're sitting right in the front of the such a great noble beings, enlightened beings, you won't get any benefit. It is like known as turning the cave of ball in the other side of the mountain or northern side of the mountain. There's no sunlight or heat. Even the sun is shining equally, but when the bowl is on northern side, the facing bowl, B-O-W-L, I think so, bowl. If it's facing to the northern side, sunlight never goes in. Even it is facing. So similar, and there's so many stories like that, and you know, it's not something mysteries. When you don't have the really connection or openness, open heart, mind, you will let bit that is the quality of that is not going to see, not going to receive. And therefore, this devotion is, and faith is so important. Once you got the faith, and that is known as the door of the, open the door of the path truth, path of enlightenment. That is what it is. So that is my brief talk for today, and thank you very much again for joining with me and listening my broken English. And thank you so much, everyone. Really, thank you, and I'm very appreciative and very, very appreciated and honored of your patience. Honored to your patience. patient in your standing and listening again with me. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, now we do short meditation again.